Diego Chargers surprised you and me by defeating the Atlanta Falcons 33-30. You're watching the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment. Hello and welcome to the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment. San Diego Chargers get it done against the Atlanta Falcons 33-30. And man, can anyone figure out this San Diego Chargers team? They've won 2 straight games. You know, they beat the Denver Broncos last week on Thursday Night Football, and then now they beat the Atlanta Falcons. Now, I knew that the San Diego Chargers were going to compete in this game. And when we saw the spread, or at least I did, I'm sure you did too, the spread of 6.5 points Atlanta was favored by, I said, no way, San Diego's going to cover that, and cover that they did. But not only did they cover, they won the game. And this is what we feared when it came to the Atlanta Falcons. Are they going to choke? And I wanted to say, hey, they're actually going to do okay, man. This is the year. You know, they have these years where they do really well in the regular season. Yeah, they'll choke in the playoffs, but they're going to do really well in the regular season. That's the team that they look like. Man, we need to slow down. And it's something that we do so easily. Not just me. Everyone does it. Like, we just go off of, you know, we have these crazy conclusions after the first 3, 4, 5 weeks of the season. It just happens too quick, too soon. I mean, this Falcons team was 4-1, and they just beaten Denver, and we're thinking, man, you know, they're going to win this division. You know, they're set up to win this division. They beat the Carolina Panthers a week before that. They're great. Then what happens? They go to Seattle, and they're impressive. And hell, some of you could argue they probably would have won that game if, you know, the referees would have called a pass interference that they should have called on Richard Sherman. Okay, fine. But they lost the game. Now they're back in Atlanta, and they're hosting the San Diego Chargers. Yeah, they're going to win that game. The Chargers aren't very good. Yes, the Chargers are very competitive, but they just probably won't be able to get it done against this Falcons team. No. This Falcons team chokes the game away. They were up 30-20. They give up a touchdown to Melvin Gordon. They let up a field goal to Josh Lambo. Damn near gave up the touchdown near the end of the fourth quarter to win the game, by the way. Go to overtime. And then this is where things went incredibly wrong to me, as Dan Quinn decided to go for it on 4th down at midfield on the first drive of overtime. I thought this was an egregious decision by Dan Quinn. I mean, this is god-awful. I understand that you do not have faith in your defense, which, by the way, is quite shocking when you're a defensive head coach, but whatever. I understand that you do not have faith in your defense. Okay, fine. But what you cannot do is say, well, we're going to go for it, and if we fail, we only have 20 yards to cover against this team, or if they get 20 yards, that's it, the game's over. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. You know you can't rely upon your defense to do that. You punt the football, and if they go 60 yards and score a field goal, then whatever. But you have to punt the football there. They go for it on 4th down, fail pretty miserably to me, and the Chargers go down the field for a field goal, win the game in overtime. Josh Lambo again. And, you know, let's talk about this game. Phillip Rivers, yet again, just masterful. I mean, he is keeping this team afloat. Melvin Gordon did not run well today, but he is a touchdown master. He had 3 touchdowns today. 2 rushing, 1 receiving, and he's really making his name known in the touchdown realm. And it's so funny because this is a guy that could not get in the end zone last year to save his life, and now he can't find anything but the end zone. Really weird, but that's his deal this year. Travis Benjamin still inconsistent. You know, 4 receptions for 54 yards. I thought he should have had more than that today. But Tyrell Williams had a huge day. He may be the best receiver on this football team, honestly. I know this is so blasphemous because Travis Benjamin's been in the league. Tyrell Williams is an unknown. But I think Tyrell Williams is more consistent. And that's what I care about, especially when it comes to the wide receiver position. I think he's more likely to catch a ball thrown his way. I think he's more likely to be consistent for you on a game-to-game basis. I think he's better. I honestly think he's better, but whatever. We're not here to discuss that. Hunter Henry, where was he today? He didn't do much of anything today. He only had one reception for 16 yards. Antonio Gates is an old man. He was not impressive. He dropped what should have been the game-winning touchdown. He was falling down. I don't like him at all. Yeah, he had 38 yards today, but man, Antonio Gates is done. I mean, this guy is the number 2 tight end at this juncture, and this is a guy that used to be, and he's still considered one of the best tight ends of all time, but man, he's finished. I don't think he's anywhere near where he should be. Antonio Gates not impressing me at all. You know, this San Diego defense, Joey Bosa had 2 sacks today, and I was never on board with the Joey Bosa hate. You know, everyone was talking about, oh, Joey Bosa is lazy. He only had 5.5 sacks or 6.5 sacks his final year in college. He's lazy. He's not very good. I said, no, he's good, and guess what? He's number 1 on my big board heading into this draft, and he's proving to be the best player out of the whole draft. Now, Ezekiel Elliott is up there right now, so is Carson Wentz, but Joey Bosa, 4 sacks in 3 games. The guy's been incredible, and he continues to be a force. The only reason he didn't have a large number of sacks last year in college was because he was double-teamed and triple-teamed. If you would have turned on the film, you would have seen it. All right, so next time, turn on the film and look and say, wow, look at this. Everyone's double-teaming this guy. Maybe that's why he's not getting sacks. Now he's getting single teamed, I guess you could say, just, one-on-one, and he's winning, and they're winning. Good for them. All right, so, moving on to the Falcons. Shame on me and shame on everyone else for thinking that they have this division locked up, because anything but, man, this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team that I'm about to get into, they're still very much in it. I know the Panthers are 1-5, but, we still know they have the potential to go on a run. This Saints team, they still have the potential to go on a run. This division is nowhere near over. Shame on you. Shame on me for ever thinking it was. If you didn't, then good, because I was thinking not that it was over, but the Falcons would win it. Too early. We need to stop falling into these traps. It was a huge trap, and we fell into it. Now, next week, the Falcons host the Green Bay Packers. Not an easy game. The week after that, they go to Tampa Bay. Not an easy game. They go to Philadelphia. Not an easy game. They host the Arizona Cardinals. Not an easy game. They host the Kansas City Chiefs. Not an easy game. They go to the LA Rams. Not an easy game. And all of a sudden, man, this Falcons team is in trouble. And you start to say, what the hell were we thinking about? Look at this schedule. Look at their issues. And this division is still very much up for grabs. I'm not saying they're not going to win it. I'm not saying they're going to win. I'm saying we don't know. Let's see how this thing plays out. I'm probably going to pick them to win next week against Green Bay. But if they don't, and then the next week after that could be for NFC South supremacy. So that would be a very interesting thing to see. Now, with that said, let's move on to my takeaways from the afternoon games. And unfortunately, this was the only game that I got incorrect. Every single other game I got correct for the afternoon games. Let's start with New England. As New England goes to Pittsburgh and win, I knew they were going to win pretty easily. This wasn't as easy as I thought it would be, but they still won the game. And, ultimately, the Steelers, I think if they would have had Ben Roethlisberger, they would have won this game. The Patriots won the game by 11 points, but I felt if Roethlisberger was in there, they would have got more points on the board early. Maybe had the Patriots maybe trying to come back against them, and this would have had a different makeup and, just for the whole game. So, very interested to see in the playoffs, because I'm still convinced these two teams are going to meet in the playoffs. What happens there? But Antonio Brown played well. Didn't play great, but played well, especially for his standards. It's a good game, not a great game. You look at Le'Veon Bell, played really well. I mean, this guy was playing absolutely fantastic. He was the main reason to me why they were still in the game. And Landry Jones was respectable. Okay, from what I saw, I need to look at the film. He was respectable to me. He gave them every chance, to compete. Maybe not to win the game, but to compete. They didn't get blown out. Good for them. Tom Brady, good again, but not great. Not 100%, not his best game, not an A+ game by any standards for Tom Brady. So, he's not perfect. He's beatable. So just consider that moving forward whenever you want to pick the Patriots to win every single game, because I know a lot of you people are going to fall into that trap, and yes, it is a trap. Let's move on. Last game. Tampa Bay beats the San Francisco 49ers 34-17. And those that were quick to write off the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're going to start coming back now, because the Bucs are now 3-3. The Bucs have won their last 2 games, and next week this team hosts the Oakland Raiders. And let me tell you, man, I'm thinking the Bucs might win that game. Now, I need to consider it. I'm going to be considering it over the upcoming week, and I'm going to come to a decision by Wednesday. But I'm really, really thinking that the Bucs are going to upset the Raiders in Tampa Bay to go 4-3 and challenge Atlanta for this division. This is a Bucs team that I had making the playoffs before the year. Did not look good after week 4. Is looking possible now. We'll see how it looks 2 weeks from now, 6 weeks from now, and ultimately probably 10 weeks from now after week 17. So now, as for the San Francisco 49ers, man, the 49ers, man, they stink. They're one of the worst teams in the league right now. I'd really like for the NFL to just say, hey, you know what? Let's just schedule a 49er versus Browns game for the number 1 pick in the draft. Because that way we'd really know who's the worst team in the NFL and who really deserves that draft pick. It's probably going to end up being the Browns, but I'm not convinced that they're worse than the 49ers. I really like to see them go head to head. And it's just so odd. I knew the 49ers were going to beat the Rams, but man, they beat them 28-0. And then ever since that moment, they haven't even been close to that football team. There's been like sputters in the first half. I mean, they were up against the Dallas Cowboys in the first half. They were up against the Bucs in the first half in this game. They were decent in the first half against the Carolina Panthers. But in the second half, man, they're just getting blown out. They're not making second half adjustments. They're just getting blown out in the second half. I think it's poor coaching. I think it's poor talent. I think it's poor quarterback play. They stink. The 49ers stink. That's it. Those are my takeaways from the afternoon games. What are yours? Comment down below. I want to know. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and most importantly, to subscribe. And until next time, this has been the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. Peace.